differ on such things as state and federal regulation of stablecoin issuers, as well as oversight of foreign issuers like Tether, which is a big player in the field. Earlier this week, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that stablecoin legislation could pave the way for the USD stablecoin market to grow beyond $2 trillion by 2028.
Wow.
Right? Big market, big moves, big everything, you know. All right, let's move it on. You know me, I hit these hard and fast. I don't dwell on these. I love crypto. I think crypto is a good place to put some money. So I believe it's a part of every portfolio now. And so a lot of other people agree with me. I sent Brandon an article on this just this past week. But moving on to pharmaceuticals, biopharmaceuticals, and more importantly, weight loss drugs. So if you've been listening to us for any amount of time, you know I follow the weight loss drugs of Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. And Novo Nordisk has had a rebound. I sold about a month and a half back because they had too many headwinds and they couldn't win a lawsuit to save their life. And so I just said, I'm getting out of the stock. I took a small loss on it and got out. I got out too soon because they started winning lawsuits and they started winning legal concerns and questions and with the government. And so Novo Nordisk is moving up, compounding. All these other users such as Hims and Hers that do compounding are all have to stop, and you have to go buy the Novo Nordisk Ozempic drug, right? Well, there's another player in the weight loss field, and this company is called Metsera. That's Metsera. Metsera. They have a number of drugs out there, right? They have a number of drugs that are going to be there's a different combination in them, and they're in the current clinical trials and phases. Right now, they have one of them that is in phase 2B. It's ongoing. They have another one that's in phase 1. They have other ones that are still in study phase and ongoing, such as pill form and what have you. There is a lot of good news and good information here on this. I want to talk about the one that they have currently in phase 2 and will hopefully be moving on very fast. So this one is the MET-097I. MET-097I. It's a fully biased ultra long acting GLP-1. Uh Now it has a little bit more to do with and I forget this if I'm saying this wrong, but they have a drug, a NUSH analog peptide that they combine with the GLP-1, and that's what makes this unique, right? And by doing this, it allows the drug to have a longer half-life. So a half-life is how long a drug that is put in your system, Brandon, will actually stay active and stay working, right?
Yep.
So this drug has a very long active half-life. In fact, they're saying that it's a once monthly dosing. So right now with the GLP ones that are out there with Eli Lilly and or Novo Nordisk, you have to do it once a week minimum to maintain the weight loss. In fact, in testing, they've seen weight loss continued for at least 8 weeks after the last dose was administered. So very long half-life on this drug. Now that could, I mean, lots of pros and cons with that. I'm not saying that's just the wholly means is a great thing, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm a non-medical professional. I can't speak it to bad, good with regards to that. I'm just a stock trader, so I'm telling you about this drug and what's going on with it. Uh, it demonstrated competitive and durable weight loss, including a 7.5% reduction in body weight from a baseline at day 36. So after 36 days, people are seeing a 7.5% reduction in body weight. That's huge. I mean, that's massive, Brandon. And the fact that it continues for 8 weeks. And they're saying it's this combination of this peptides with the GLP-1 is really making the difference in this. Now, some of the other versions of this that are not quite as far as long as phase 2 are a pill form and not an injectable form, which makes this company very intriguing. So why am I bringing this up when we already have Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly? So one thing I've been very consistent of saying in the healthcare and pharmaceutical field, that just because you're the first one with a drug doesn't mean you're going to come out with the best drug and the one that everybody uses. Currently, Eli Lilly has, and I've reported on this about 2 to 3 months ago, I believe. Eli Lilly has a cholesterol drug that gets rid of over 95% of all bad cholesterol inside your body in 4 months. So there are advances in drugs and healthcare in particular that are far and beyond what the predecessors were capable of doing but it's the work of the predecessors that allowed these to come around. Thoughts, Brandon?
I mean, that sounds extreme, the 95%. But again, not being a
That was
doctor,
Eli Lilly and the cholesterol drug,
I
and I covered it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I invest in what I know, and this like anytime that there's stuff like this that kind of it just scares me a little bit.
Why does this scare you?
I mean, you don't the side effects that could come out, what are all the lawsuits pertaining to regarding Novo Nordisk? And I know I'm a big tech investor and there's thousands of lawsuits there every day against Google and Meta and all that's a daily thing.
Most of them have to do with stock price
Okay.
manipulation
Okay.
and not to do with drug problems.
Okay. And
I would say
that's
90% of it has
normal.
to do with
I
the
mean,
stock price.
there's shareholder lawsuits left and right, and most of them are stupid. Most of them are frivolous. Um, Again, though, when you say 95% of bad cholesterol in like 5 months, and I know that's the Eli Lilly one, that sounds extreme, and that sounds to me like there's going to be a whole book written about side effects. You know, you'll you're muted. I can't hear anything you're saying.
All right, let's talk about Met Sarah and the weight loss drug that they have because that's the one I'm reporting on now. And they're saying that this half life, so it could have a potential half life of 2 months, but right now it's saying the half life where you do a one month a one shot a month for this weight loss drug versus what you have to do with Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk is once a week,
Yeah. I don't
and
know.
an 8% and a 7.5% body weight loss in
Yeah.
just 36 days. That is crazy. Imagine if you weigh 300 pounds and you do 7.5%. That's what 23 pounds in the first month.
That's insane, and hopefully it's
23
healthy.
pounds. Yeah.
Hopefully it's healthy. It makes me think every time of those commercials that like it shows people like jogging and having fun, and then the side effects are being listed, and it's like you may cry blood, or you may spontaneously combust.
Well, let's look at the numbers here, right? We're a stock and investment podcast. Let's look at the numbers, right? Let's break this down. Currently, institutional ownership of Metsera is 40%. Institutional fund ownership at 11%. Insiders only own 14.8% of the company. There's a reason for that. It just started trading not too long ago. This has not been available for stock trading for that long whatsoever. In fact, it's been less than what back in February, January of this year. Started
What's the price per share right now?
currently $29.38.
Okay.
Started stock trading back in January 31st of this year, and immediately all the insiders bought up tons of stocks.
Okay.
Lots of the insider buys immediately as soon as it went live. So that's to me that's a good sign. Current debt to assets 26.8% debt to assets.
Okay.
So that's pretty
Not bad.
good. Yeah, especially for a newer company. Cash flow operating cash flow is negative at 54 million. Net cash flow is positive at 234
Okay.
million. So I mean you got some you know differences there. Only two earnings so far since because it just came out this year. Two earnings reported. Brand new company, so you would not expect, and they don't have anything commercially available for sale. So you expect it all to be losses, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Nothing yet commercial. First loss was heavy. The estimated was negative 80 cents per share. It came in at negative $3.52. The second Q1 of 2025 estimated was negative 85 cents per share, came in at negative $1.03. So a lot closer on that. So to me, I see a lot of high potential here in Metsera.
Okay.
And I look at a company that, as I dig into this further, is one that I'm going to say is a buy. I'm calling a call right now on Metsera on June 15th.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for it.
You're just going to take my word for it. That's it.
I've invested in exactly one pharmaceutical company in my life and it did not go well. So,
Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough. So let me talk about one that is not going well. And I usually don't cover headlines like this, and I don't go into these type of companies, but I want to just share this as, there's a company called Sarepta Therapeutics, ticker symbol SRPT. They were doing some really advanced research in a lot of fields of muscular skeletal issues, and were coming out with new medicines they were trying in clinical trials, and they were making some advancements, and they're doing very well. Uh, and they're doing some gene therapy treatments on a lot of these. Well, recently, within the past 30 days, they had two patients in clinical trials of this muscular treatment gene therapy session die of liver
oh well.
malfunctions, and so liver failure deaths. So they had to pause all the trials for this drug and put people on different medications immediately. These are the risks that these healthcare and pharmaceutical companies have when they do these things, when they're trying to test out. We have all these safety standards in place. I've talked about the book of Blood and Money, it's a true story, and it goes into the in depths of the uh, pharmaceutical world and how to get approval, and how the FDA can be pushed one way or another by certain companies, and they can make it very hard or very easy for certain companies. But there's a reason why we have the FDA in place, and it's to stop deaths like this. Um, Unfortunately for those families, those people didn't make it. If you're Sarepta Therapeutics, the stock has been going down consistently for six months now, and when it opens up Monday morning, it is going to drop like a rock. Um, the only way to play that kind of drop with no positive sign in the immediate future for this stock price, you could do a dead cat bounce, or you could just go ahead and do a put. But I believe everybody else will be doing puts on it come Monday morning.
Uh-huh.
So,
Or short it.
huh?
Or short it.
Or short it. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that going on as well.
Yeah.
So this stock's about it was just recently trading at $175 a share back in 1 year ago.
Yeah. So you got to
1 year
figure
ago.
out, do you want to put a time frame on it? Because if you buy a put, then you're limiting your losses, which is good compared to a short, which theoretically your losses are not limited on that because there's no limit to how much the price can go up if people wind up buying a crap load of it. Um, but with a short position, there's no expiration. So that's also
Well, currently the stock's at $36 a share. It's already gone down quite a bit over like I said, last 6 months it really fell off. They just had bad news after bad news on these clinical trials, and this is what happens when you invest in these biopharmaceutical companies. So I give you this example after I just made a call on a company as a word of warning. Biopharmaceutical companies and drugs can have great high hopes, but then something could go wrong somewhere, and all of a sudden that company's stock just plummets. So yes, I'm calling to buy on Metsera, but always do your research. Always make sure you're watching these clinical trials and you're ready to get out if need be.
gotcha.
That's why I covered that news article after I covered Metsera, and because these all just happened just this past weekend, and it's good. It's timely. It shows you the bad side as well as the good side of pharmaceuticals.
Well, I think in this episode so far, we've done a pretty good job of showing, the two sides to the coin on the reasons why we invest. I mean, you're talking about the two companies right now. why you call it a buy on one, why you're saying don't touch the other one for pharmaceuticals. And then for me, I was talking about the situation where I bought into General Electric. I like the fact that they were splitting the companies back then, but they already had their turnaround plan in progress and everything was going well. And Warner Brothers is not that situation. So, I mean, I think we did a pretty good job
Yeah,
educating
showing
people on where our minds are.
yeah, showing the yin and yang of the markets, if you will.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, it is that time again in the show for your final thought or
I,
thoughts. Do you have more than one?
I will never touch Boeing again. It's not going to be for me. Even if it's a good value, I just do not have the time every day to be looking at my phone and worrying about what report might come out from that crash. And I just don't want any part of it. So I'm done. I'm done with Boeing. That's it.
All right.
But Dave, I really wish I would not have titled the episode Brandon Buys Boeing 2 weeks ago.
That is poorly timed. Poorly timed. All right. So recently, there's two things that happened this past week that, last 2 weeks. One was a IPO of Circle Internet Group. It's a crypto related company. Brandon, you mentioned why did we not see this? Why did you not see this coming? I don't know. I heard something about it, but I didn't get a chance to look into it. There's thousands and thousands of companies for us to look into all the time. We sometimes we miss a few. Um, I did take a look at Circle Internet Group. It is doing very, very well, but it just goes to show you that anytime you have a new innovative company involved in some kind of financial services with crypto, it's taken off. And there's a lot of movement in these. I've covered them in our stock trading groups before, where we've texted messaged each other about them and how they just keep going up and up and up no matter what, and they're making money and they're profitable and they're doing very, very well. And Circle Internet Group is another one that has continued to gone up. It IPO'd, I believe, what was it, like $10 a share IPO'd?
Well, that's a crypto play, so that would be up your alley.
Yeah, $31 a share is the IPO and is currently at $134 a share. So it's just that's a nice, huge return, four times your money at least. Circle Internet Group is really taking off. So anytime you see an IPO coming out and it's something crypto related right now, that's hot. There's a lot of money to be moved into these things. People are looking still to make quick money off of crypto and move it fast because there's a lot of money in crypto.
Yeah.
A lot of these people have made millions off crypto and they're looking for some way to invest their money outside of it, kind of like how Saudi Arabia's made, billions and billions in oil and they want to invest outside of it so they have other income streams.
Yep.
So that's the situation you have in crypto. So when you have a crypto financial services company that's not really a crypto company but is crypto related, yes, the crypto guys are going to throw their millions in it in order to have a diversified portfolio, but yet still be crypto related.
Yep.
And then the other one I want to talk about is one that I own, and I've called it a buy on the show, and I still own it, and I'm not selling it. Is Cooler Technology Group. They're doing a reverse stock split, and I don't like that they're doing this. I don't. Michael Moe is irritating me. He's the CEO of the company. He's doing this, and so that they can be added to, and this is the press release they said, so that they can be added to all these institutional mutual funds and other growth funds because they've expressed interest in adding Cooler to it, but the price of Cooler was too low in order to be added to it. And so they said you have to maintain above a certain price level. So Cooler Technology is going to go ahead and do a reverse stock split. That's going to take effect on June 3rd. And they're also going to be added to the Russell 3000 because of this reverse stock split. Now, when that got announced, the stock fell off a cliff. It went from $1.25 to 88 cents a share. People sold like crazy to get out of there.
Yep.
Am I happy he did this? No. I'm not happy at all that he's doing this in order to be into these funds. But if these verbal agreements he has with these investment banks and with the Russell 3000 go through, they're going to make this back up and more.
I
And
hope so.
especially if they do what I believe they're going to do, which is report a profit next quarter on the earnings, then again they're going to make all this back up and more. So I'm holding. I mean, right now it's so cheap. I would say buy because it's so cheap, But if you bought where I bought in, I would say just hold. Let's see where this goes from here.
I
But
wonder
that's
how many shares are outstanding of it. I didn't see that.
it's going to be brought down to a total after the reverse stock split of just 40 million shares.
Okay. Well,
So
it's not a
not
lot. It's not
no,
tons.
no, it's not. And so that's why it's they're doing 8 for 1. If you want to know the math, 8 for 1. So reverse stock split coming on for June 23rd for Cooler Technology Group. A couple of us that own it in our stock groups were already chatting about this. Like, what are you doing? Are you selling? Are you holding? I told everybody I'm holding. So
Okay.
that's my final thought. So thank you for listening. Please hit the subscribe button whether you're watching us live on YouTube or not live or recorded on YouTube
Five.
live hopefully soon. Or listen to us on the podcast like most everybody else is right now. We thank you as always. We hope we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.